Picture it, the 17th century, a time of cultural revolution, and the birthplace of burlesque dance. In the heart of Italy, bustling and vibrant with art and culture, a new form of theatre was taking shape. This was the era of the commedia dell'arte, a time when masked actors roamed the stage, bringing to life stories that were as much about social satire as they were about entertainment. Burlesque, a term derived from the Italian word burla, meaning mockery or jest, was not originally about the provocative dance style we know today. Instead, it was a form of comic theatre, a parody of the serious dramas and operas that dominated the Italian stage. The burlesque performances were filled with humor, satire, and an irreverent take on the societal norms of the time. Performers used exaggerated expressions, slapstick humor, and playful mockery to entertain their audiences. Over time, burlesque evolved, taking on different forms and styles as it spread across Europe. In France, it became synonymous with a variety show featuring comedy, song, and dance. In England, it was a theatrical parody of popular plays or operas, often with a political twist. But what remained consistent was the spirit of burlesque, its intent to satirize, to mock, and to entertain. It was a celebration of the comedic, the absurd, and the light-hearted, a counterpoint to the serious and the tragic. In the 19th century, the burlesque that crossed the Atlantic to America began to take on a new form, one that incorporated elements of the risque and the sensual. But that's a story for another time. And so, burlesque found its roots not in the strip clubs of modern times, but in the satire and comedy of Italian theatre. A testament to the power of art to challenge, to provoke, and to entertain, all while wearing a cheeky grin. That, my dear listeners, is the true essence of burlesque. As the centuries rolled on, so did the evolution of the burlesque dance. In the 19th century, the art form found fertile ground in Britain, where it began to bloom in a new way. Burlesque, originally a form of satirical theatre, started to use its sharp wit and humour to question societal norms and mock the pretentiousness of the upper classes. The shows were lively, with cheeky parodies, music and dance, and they quickly became popular among the working classes. But it wasn't just for laughs. It was a tool of social commentary, a mirror held up to the society of the time, revealing its flaws and hypocrisies with a playful grin. As the 20th century dawned, burlesque dance began to cross the Atlantic, making its way to the shores of America. Here, it underwent another transformation. American burlesque shows started to incorporate elements of striptease, blending the satire and parody of traditional burlesque with a more overt sensuality. This was a bold move, a departure from the norm, and it wasn't without controversy. But it was a reflection of the changing times, a sign of the growing freedom of expression and the breaking down of societal taboos. The performances became increasingly daring and provocative, with performers pushing the boundaries of what was considered acceptable on stage. Yet they retained the wit and humor of traditional burlesque, creating a unique blend of satire and sensuality that was both entertaining and thought-provoking. This was a pivotal moment in the evolution of burlesque dance. It was no longer just about satire and parody. It was about empowerment, about challenging norms, about claiming a space for personal expression and freedom. It was about embracing sensuality, not as something to be hidden away, but as something to be celebrated. From the stages of Victorian England to the cabarets of America, burlesque dance continued to evolve, gradually embracing a more sensual aesthetic. And as we'll see in the next scene, the sexual revolution of the 1960s would take this evolution even further, pushing burlesque dance into new, uncharted territories. Enter the sexual revolution of the 1960s, a time of great change for society and for burlesque dance. As the world was being swept up in a wave of progressive ideals and radical changes, the burlesque dance scene was not left untouched. The sexual revolution of the 60s tore down walls of conservative norms and in their place built a platform for a more explicit form of burlesque, one that celebrated the freedom of expression and body positivity. The sexual revolution was a time of liberation, a time where the shackles of tradition were cast aside and the exploration of sexuality was encouraged. This newfound freedom seeped into every facet of society, including the world of burlesque. Dancers began to incorporate bolder, more provocative elements into their routines, pushing the boundaries of what was considered acceptable. This shift wasn't just about shock value or titillation. It was about a change in perspective, a recognition of the power and beauty of the female form. It was about women taking control of their bodies, their sexuality, and their performances. It was about breaking free from societal expectations and embracing a more open and accepting view of sexuality. In the midst of this societal upheaval, burlesque found a new voice. It became a platform for women to express themselves freely, to celebrate their bodies, and to challenge the status quo. The performances became less about pleasing the audience and more about empowering the performer. The dance evolved into a form of self-expression, a statement of defiance against societal norms. The sexual revolution ushered in a new era for burlesque, one that was more explicit, more daring, and more empowering. This era laid the foundation for the burlesque we know today, a dance form that continues to challenge societal norms and celebrate the female form. The sexual revolution ushered in a new era for burlesque, one that celebrated the female form and challenged societal norms. Fast forward to the 21st century, a time when burlesque dance has seen a resurgence in popularity. The world of dance has welcomed back burlesque with open arms, embracing its unique blend of humor, parody, and sensuality. The modern iterations of burlesque are far from being a mere revival of the old. They are a reinvention, a reimagining, a remix of the traditional form, tailored to the tastes and sensibilities of contemporary audiences. Among these new forms, neo-burlesque and boylesque stand out as shining examples. Neo-burlesque, as the prefix neo suggests, is a new take on the classic burlesque tradition. It maintains the humor and parody inherent in the original Italian theatre, but blends it with the sensuality introduced in the 20th century. The result is a performance that is both entertaining and provocative, a dance that teases and titillates while eliciting laughter and applause. Boylesque, on the other hand, is a form of burlesque performed by men. It's a playful and cheeky twist on the traditional form, challenging gender norms and expectations. The performers in boylesque use humor, satire, and sensuality to create a captivating spectacle that delights and surprises audiences. Modern burlesque, in all its forms, is more than just a dance. It's a performance art that celebrates diversity, body positivity, and individuality. The performers come from all walks of life, each bringing their unique style and personality to the stage. They flaunt their bodies with pride and confidence regardless of their size or shape, challenging societal standards of beauty. Moreover, while burlesque has evolved and adapted over the centuries, it has never lost its essence. The humor, the parody, the element of surprise, these have remained constant, serving as the backbone of every burlesque performance. Today, burlesque dance is a celebration of self-expression, body positivity, and humor, a far cry from its satirical beginnings yet still holding true to its roots. So, what is the essence of burlesque dance? It's a question that beckons a deeper understanding of this vibrant art form. Burlesque dance is an intricate tapestry woven from threads of satire, sensuality, and self-expression. It's a dance form that has danced to the rhythm of cultural shifts, evolving in tandem with societal changes over the centuries. Born in the saloons and music halls of the 19th century, burlesque began as a form of comic entertainment, a cheeky parody of the upper classes, a satire that poked fun at society's norms and expectations. It was a dance that didn't shy away from controversy, a dance that dared to be different. As the years rolled on, the dance form began to shimmy and shake to a different beat. The sexual revolution of the mid-20th century ushered in a new era for burlesque. The dance form shed its layers of satire, bearing a more sensual and provocative side. It became a celebration of the human body, a testament to the power of sensuality. But burlesque dance is not merely a dance of seduction, it's a dance of empowerment. It's a dance that celebrates the individual, that champions self-expression. It's a dance that encourages its performers to embrace their unique quirks and characteristics, to revel in their individuality. Over the years, burlesque has incorporated elements from various dance forms, from ballet to jazz, from tap to modern dance. It's a dance that is constantly evolving, that's not afraid to push boundaries and challenge conventions. In essence, burlesque dance is a dynamic art form that mirrors the times in which it exists. It's a dance that reflects societal changes, that echoes the voices of those who dare to be different. It's a dance that celebrates the freedom of expression, the power of humor, and the beauty of the human form in all its diverse glory. Burlesque dance, a dynamic art form, continues to evolve, reflecting the times in which it exists, always celebrating the freedom of expression and the power of humor.